I'm 92 years old, and I'm going to tell you something that took me most of my life to figure out. Something I wish somebody had shaken me by the shoulders and told me when I was 25 or 35 or even 55. But I don't think I would have listened. Some things you have to live long enough to understand. For most of my life, I was a prisoner. Not in a jail, but in something worse. I was a prisoner of what other people thought about me, or what I imagined they thought about me, which is even more ridiculous when you think about it. I spent decades, actual decades, shaping myself into what I thought the world wanted me to be. And let me tell you, it nearly killed the real me. When I was a young man, I wanted to be an artist. I loved to paint. I'd spend hours with oils and canvas, losing myself completely. My father thought it was foolish. He was a banker, respected in our town, and he made it very clear that art was not a real profession. So I became an accountant. I was good at it, I suppose. Made decent money. But every single day for 30 years, I sat at that desk and felt like I was wearing someone else's skin. I got married young, to a woman my mother approved of. She was nice enough, from a good family. But we didn't really know each other, not deeply. We had 3 children together, and I loved those kids more than anything. But my wife and I, we were performing for each other, trying to be the versions of ourselves we thought the other wanted. It took us 20 years to have an honest conversation, and by then, we'd built such high walls around ourselves that it was hard to find our way back to each other. I remember this one time, must have been 1978 or so. My son wanted to quit Little League Baseball. He hated it. He'd come home with his uniform dirty and his eyes red from holding back tears. But all his friends played, and all the other fathers coached or came to games, and I told him he had to stick with it. Because what would people think if my boy was a quitter? What would the neighbors say? He played for 2 more miserable years. He's 60 now, and he still remembers. He mentioned it last Christmas, how much he hated those years. That hit me hard. The thing is, I wasn't even enjoying the life I'd built trying to please everyone else. I had the right job, the right house in the right neighborhood, the right car, said the right things at parties, but I felt hollow, empty, like a building with no one living inside it. And the worst part is, I don't even think most people cared as much as I thought they did. They were too busy worrying about what I thought of them. My real awakening came when I was 73. My wife had passed 2 years earlier. Cancer took her quick, and I was at a funeral for an old colleague from the firm, standing there in my black suit, looking at this casket, listening to his son talk about him. And the son said something that shook me to my core. He said, "My father was a good man, but I never really knew who he was. He never let us see him." I went home that day and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Was that going to be my eulogy? That I was pleasant but unknown? That I lived my whole life behind a mask? I had maybe 10 years left if I was lucky, maybe 15. And I decided right then that I was done. Done caring what people thought, done performing, done hiding. So I started painting again. Set up an easel in my living room and just painted. My kids came to visit and saw these canvases everywhere, and they didn't know what to make of it at first. My daughter said, "Dad, I didn't know you painted." And I told her, "Neither did I, really. I stopped before you were born." I started saying what I actually thought. Not in a rude way. I'm not talking about being cruel, but honest. If someone asked my opinion, I gave it. If I didn't want to go to something, I said no, thank you. If I disagreed, I said so. It was terrifying at first. I thought people would reject me, think I was crazy, some bitter old man. But you know what happened? Nothing bad. Actually, the opposite. My relationships got better, deeper. My son and I started having real conversations. My daughter told me she liked this version of me better, that I seemed more alive. I made new friends, real friends, people who liked the actual me. I even dated a woman for a while, a widow from my painting class, and it was the first time I'd ever been in a relationship where I wasn't pretending to be someone I wasn't. The freedom of it, I can't even describe it to you properly. It's like I'd been holding my breath for 70 years and finally exhaled. All that energy I'd spent trying to manage everyone's perception of me, suddenly I had it back. I used it to live, really live. And here's the thing that makes me laugh now, makes me shake my head at all those wasted years. Most people barely noticed the change. They were so wrapped up in their own lives, their own worries about what others thought of them, that my transformation was just a blip on their radar. All that time I spent being so careful, so controlled, and they weren't even watching that closely. The ones who did notice, the ones who had something to say about it, they fell into two camps. Some people didn't like it, thought I'd become difficult or strange. And you know what? I let them go. Those weren't real relationships anyway, they were transactions. You play a role, I'll play a role, we'll both pretend we're not lonely. Good riddance to that. But most people, the real ones, they appreciated the honesty. They opened up too, started being more themselves around me. My grandson told me last year that he's thinking of dropping out of law school to become a chef. His parents are worried, want him to have security. But he came to me because he said I'm the only one who tells him the truth. I told him life's too short to spend it doing something that makes you miserable just because it looks good on paper. He's in culinary school now, happy as I've ever seen him. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, that man sitting at his desk in 1972, adding up columns of numbers while his paint's dried up in the basement, I'd grab him by the shoulders and I'd say, "They're not thinking about you as much as you think they are, and the ones who matter will love the real you, and the ones who don't, they don't matter." I'd tell him that conformity is comfortable, but it's also a coffin. That approval from people you don't even respect is worthless. That at the end of your life you won't regret the times you were yourself, and some people didn't like it. You'll regret the times you hid yourself and lost years you can never get back. I'm 92 years old now. I don't have many years left, maybe a few if I'm lucky. But these last 19 years, since I stopped caring what people thought, these have been the best years of my life. I'm more myself now than I was at 30. I paint every day. I say what I mean. I love without holding back. I laugh louder. I cry when I need to. I'm finally free. And that's what I want you to understand. You don't have to wait until you're 73. You don't have to waste 50 years like I did. You can start today, right now. Be yourself. The real you, not the edited version you think people want to see. Some people won't like it, and that's okay. Let them go. The right people, the real people, they're waiting to meet the actual you. And life, real life, it starts the moment you stop performing and start living. Don't wait as long as I did. Please. Time is the one thing you can't get back. And I wasted so much of it trying to be someone I wasn't. You're young. You have time. But don't waste it being a version of yourself designed by committee. Be yourself. Boldly. Unapologetically. It's the only life you get.